star so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burnin Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Oh, welcome back, Daylight Burners. Got Casey Howell back on the show with me, and we're gonna talk a little bit of feedlot shit today. Before we get into anything too much, Casey, I gotta give a shout out to everybody that showed up in Elko this past weekend. I really truly appreciate you guys. I was kind of down in the dumps on Friday. Like, not many people showed up, and we put on a good show, I thought, anyways. And I was not real impressed with my performance, but overall the show I thought was good. Matt and Rachel Wilson are truly incredible people. Those guys are so fucking talented, and they're so fun to be around. But then Saturday morning, Rachel kind of kicked my ass. She called me and she's like, "Hey, we're doing a fucking show. This is the goddamn Burnin Daylight show, and you're a good man, and you're doing good shit, and people came here to see you, so let's fucking put on a show for them." And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right. It's right. And so we started the show Saturday with five cow punchers in the corner, and that was it. And we were having a goddamn ball. And then people just trickled in all night, and before you knew it, we had like 50 people. And we played. I think we started about 7:30, 7:45, somewhere in there. And I think we got off stage at 12:30 or some bullshit like that. We just kept playing, and it was at the point where I literally was I had nothing else prepared for the night. I was like, I've told stories, unless somebody like tells a story that makes me remember a story I haven't told yet. I'm just going to start saying my poetry over again because I'm out of shit. But it was awesome. And I don't know, it just it takes somebody like that. Like Rachel gave me that little pep talk, and I was like, you know, people came to Elko to see me, and I don't care if I'm feeling down in the dumps. They came here to see me, so like, let's fucking entertain these bastards, and that's what we did. And so, like, Adam Drake is a goofy cocksucker, but he shows up with bells on, and he's ready to fucking party, and he brings kind of brings the show to life, and you're like, fuck yeah, I like that guy. I appreciate you, man. So, Adam, hats off to you. All the Canadian fellas that I met, the fella from Utah, I cannot remember his name. I'm not good with names. I'll remember his face forever. But the guy that played cowpoke for me so I could sing, shoot me a message, and because I want you to play next year if you're willing. So anyways, that being said, Elko was a grand old time like always. I fucking love those like truly cowboy events. I know cowboy poetry gets kind of a bad name because there's a lot of gunsels that come to town, but man, there's a lot of fucking sure enough cow hands that come to Elko as well. And you find the good shows, and that's where the real buckaroos, cow hands hang out.
Damn.
You gonna make it over there, buddy?
If I don't, carry on without me.
We won't even notice. But
yeah, soldier on. At least you can hear me this time.
Hey, we've done a lot of, like, I think you're on like 5 or 6 podcasts by now.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, you're getting up there. You're one of the outside of like the regular shows. You're one of the most frequent guests, and I don't hate that at all. We always have a good time. That's pretty cool.
Me either.
But it's always a little sketchy as whether it's gonna work. It usually does, but it's not always the best audio, but it always seems to work. And
Yeah, my truck droning in the background when I was headed to Texas.
well, you're you're in civilization nowadays, so
Yeah.
it's
Oh man. I actually have a house with an actual bathroom. I got a fucking shower, man.
moving on up
Like
to the
the
east
shower.
side.
Oh man, like the fact that I can turn a knob and I got water. Like y'all think I'm dumb, but man, that's cool. Like that's really cool.
See, I think this is where like me and you play an important role in culture because we can go talk to the black guys and the Mexicans and talk about how poor we were.
Oh yeah,
Like
man.
that's
So
I think
half
Cowboys
our
play
crew
a
is
vital
Mexican.
role because
We're the
there's
missing link.
there's a lot of rich kids that come play cowboy and some of them actually make really good cow hands.
Yeah,
But most of us are pretty goddamn poor and stay
pretty
poor.
damn important. It's all out of necessity.
And yeah, they like anybody that's doing pretty good cowboying, they're hustling their dick off. Because
Yeah.
you have to. It just cowboying don't pay much. It
No.
really don't pay much.
No. And horse prices right now are nuts.
Dude, I'm feeling bad for my horses. Like they're not in bad shape, but I just
Yeah.
know they need a break, and I can't afford something else.
Yeah,
right
no
now.
shit. Well, I gotta go. I have some outside horses coming, but this has actually been probably the best thing in the world for my colt.
No, I bet.
Oh
dude.
man, he's broke. Like he got his third set of shoes put on today.
Hell yeah, dude. Just
I
wearing
mean,
out
he might
horseshoes.
only be two, but he's pretty big, and I'm not really. I'm walking. The most I do is maybe stop harder, man.
This your big
What's
stud
that?
colt?
Yeah,
Hell yeah, dude.
and so what I'm hoping is he'll pay for himself eventually, but with me using him and actually like working as a half draft stud, working around mares and everything, and he's well behaved and he does his job well. I mean, that might be something people want to breed to.
Yeah, for sure. If he's nice, I mean that goes a long ways, man, and especially with a half draft. How's he move?
Well, I've been riding him around nothing but mares. I think I've rode him around one gelding since I've been here.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good because I don't have to reprimand him. He doesn't even acknowledge the mares. I mean, it's like the mare will sit there and wink at him and everything and back up to him and rub him. And he's like, Daddy, it's touching me. I'm like, I hope you don't.
My owner says you're not my type. My owner says you're not my type.
I don't know my mother, but I never knew my father. So his dad, he's out of an Amish half draft.
Okay.
Or an Amish Belgian.
Nice.
So he's bred to work. And I have just a bred mare.
Belgians are pretty goddamn athletic for big horses. So how's his lateral movement?
Oh man, pretty good. Like I sorted go homes on him yesterday, and I hardly missed a one.
See, you kind of gotta retrain how you sort on a big horse because you don't have to move as far. You know. Like,
well, my big horse
more. Oh, sorry. You got to be a little more refined with your feet because,
like
I said, it only takes a half step for like.
Yeah, you don't bang on
like
them, touch them.
A normal, like say my good horse is 15-1 somewhere in there, and like it'll take if I want her to go halfway across the alley, that takes like a goose, it's like a jab and hold,
Yeah.
But like my not so good horse that's quite a bit taller, he takes just a jab.
Yeah.
I want him to step over, but also like his step is about like 1 1/4 of my good mare. Yeah, so I mean you gotta kind of, but he's also a lot like my good mare obviously is gonna be my real good horse, she's real responsive to the feet, so it doesn't
Yeah.
take much. Where him, it takes more effort to get him to move, but you also don't need him to take a full step.
Yeah. So it's like
And
just starting the movement and letting go.
yeah, exactly. So like and it's because he's an older arena horse. I got him when he was like 14, and he's done nothing really except team rope. So like he's a fast son of a bitch, like strapped to a goddamn rocket ship. But when you go to sort something, his nose goes straight up in the air. So like you've got to be very deliberate with your
Yeah.
feet. But like you got to get his attention, but you cannot hold it for very long. So everything's like it's almost violent looking.
Yeah.
Like when you're
Quickly.
riding him, it looks real violent, but it's not. It's just like it's the horse, you know?
Yeah. Well, you've seen that bullseye horse of mine, that big tall gray.
Yeah.
Well, man, people like I literally have the tallest
You
horse
look
there.
like Charlie Chaplin on that
Oh
horse,
man, I
by the
do
way.
look like a real guy. But I don't care. Man.
I mean, you're not super short, but that horse makes you look real short.
And he's a branded Mustang. They're not supposed to get that big.
I've got one like that. She's way bigger than she should be. And
Well, I fed him. I mean, his whole growing period, he got fed like great alfalfa. I gave him grain and power pack. I mean, he
so
had a lot more. What's that?
He's feeling good about himself.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
he was given a lot more of an advantage than most Mustangs would get.
Mm-hmm.
So you pour that nutrients to them. That's capable of the Mustangs that are in the wild, but their bodies are designed to take in just so much, or that's all there is. But they can take in more. But with him, he had all this stuff to his disposal, so he grew like a weed.
Hell yeah, man! It's amazing what a little feed will, especially at the right time, what a little feed will do for a horse or cow.
I think
too.
for about 3 to 5, 6, if you feed the hell out of them, that's your growing time.
See, so you're down in a big feed lot, and I'm in a little grower yard, and I've been around feedlots now since full time for the most part.
I have to go to both the feedlot and our grower yard.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that here in a minute, but
it's pretty cool.
I've been in the feedlot since 2009, and I really appreciate the way that we feed cattle here, because we have most of our yard is dairy heifers, and dairy heifers are a pain in the ass to deal with for cowboys, because they're dumb. They're really dumb, and you got about 30 days where you actually have to work on them, and then after that, they're kind of just like they just take care of themselves. But that's when they get real, like they get real aggressive towards your horse. Like they never get mean, but they don't
like pushing them around.
They're way up in your personal space. Way up in your personal space. But they're.
Do you have any experience with them hump cattle?
Do what now?
Do you have any experience with them hump cattle, like Bramers?
A little bit. It's been a long time. When I was there at Syracuse for JBS or Five Rivers, we would get some out of like South Texas that were just straight silver humpback Bramers.
This is an ocean of humps, man.
I really like those Bramers because they move.
Oh, they move.
But they're
wild sons of bitches.
They are kind of wild, but they're not particularly snorty. Like they're
no, they just want to get away from you.
Yeah, but when you cross them with something, holy shit, they get mean.
Yeah, they do.
They get real mean. Like those.
We got a bunch of half Watusi Bramers.
Oh fuck! I bet those
Yeah.
are some goosey suckers. Those because
Yeah.
Watusi's what, an African breed?
Hmm.
Yeah, so they're fighting lions and like rival
Yeah.
tribes and shit.
They're bred to kill shit.
Yeah, they have to. Like and then they've got a massive set of horns on them.
But luckily, they dehorn everything here.
Yeah, you
They
about
got
have
a
to.
they got a contract with Tyson, and the horns can't be over so long. Like we
Yeah.
literally railed a freaking healthy, great looking steer because he had horns 2 inches too long.
I believe that. There was when I was there at well, see, at Cactus we were one of the smaller yards, so like we shipped. I want to say we shipped like somewhere between like 800 and 1,500 a week.
Yeah, that's
So
about what we do.
okay,
But we do
so
1,200 and over.
yeah, um,
It's
but
pretty good though.
Texas is a little different though. So with like everything, every now and then we'd get some Mexican cattle, and
Yeah.
They'd have to go to Amarillo, but everything else went to Garden City or Holcomb.
I'm not
And
sure these go.
well, I think Kansas doesn't kill Mexican cattle or any non-native cattle. I think
I didn't know that.
I don't know if it's a law, but I know it was the same thing at when I was at Grant County. They fed a lot of southern cattle, but they wouldn't feed any Mexicans, and like the Texas yards were all full of Mexicans. But I think that's because that's because they would kill them in Texas. So
I think they go to Amarillo.
I would imagine so, and then like all the JBS or Five
The
Rivers
crazy thing
cattle
is,
went to
you literally could make an alley to JBS from the home yard, and they don't buy. They don't send stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand prices and everything, but it'd be really convenient.
I know, and all it would take is for JBS to bid just a little bit more.
Yeah.
That it'd be well, like they'd save so much money on freight.
Yeah.
But that's how those big boys play though. It's
by the numbers.
You got your territory, I got my territory, and we're not going to overlap, because if we overlap, then we're going to come into competition, and competition's bad for everybody, because now we can just set these prices high.
Yeah.
It's a wild system that we live in, you know?
I know. I try to stay ignorant of most stuff. Like, I know the big politics, like the big debates and all that. I know about that shit. But for the most part, man, I just try to stay ignorant because ignorance is bliss.
That's when people ask me about what cattle prices are, I'm like, man, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't want to. I know how much I make.
Yeah, that's pretty much, like, I know the cattle I ride, and I know how much I make, and that's all I need to know. Like, I'm curious about a lot of it, and then the more I find out, I'm just like,
I really
you know
like.
what? I'm gonna do my job, because seems like everybody in the business, minus the giant packers, are just like holding their nose at the deal they get. And
Yeah.
like, I don't even know how you change.
They're taking the best they can get, and that's all they can get. That's shitty part.
Yeah, and I don't know. So like we have a couple guys that feed out cattle with us, and not a lot, but they do the direct to consumer. And this one guy, like he's doing, I don't know, like 4 or 5 animals, like a quarter or something like that. And so, you're looking at, like, I don't know, somewhere between like 12 to 20 head of cattle a year, which is like, that's not bad numbers for one rancher.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean that's still plus his other income. I mean that's still $30,000.
I know, and that's why I'm saying I like, man, I wish more people would hustle like that because
Yeah.
I bet it pays off in the long run. And his wife does all like the social media stuff and like they do a good job of it. But it's a lot of work, I can tell. But also, I
Yeah.
was like, I bet it pays off for him because I see his cattle, and his cattle are like just they're just easy. You don't have to do shit
Yeah.
with them. I ride by like I back alley him every day,
Yeah.
and I'm
Looking.
and just like
Yeah.
yeah, and then like once a month he comes and picks up a load of steers and then like every other month he'll drop a couple more off and you're just like, fucking keep at it, man. I hope
Yeah.
this builds into something cool where like you almost have to build your own packing plant to keep up with the demand. And
That'd be pretty cool.
but I wish more people would do that because that's how you break the big like corporate
Yeah.
shit because
But you have to get a lot of people to do it. But
you
with
have to.
with these corporate yards, it's really, I mean, you can't compete.
No, because they can, they can outbid you on like the first 3 set of cattle at the sale barn
Yeah.
and just overrun the market. And then after that, they can bid whatever they want.
Yeah, pretty much. So
And
we would get cattle in when I was down in Colorado, and there's an expected death loss of like 35%. And I'm like, what?
that's a high death loss.
Yeah. But it was acceptable because of what they were giving for them cattle versus what they're making in the end, and plus what it costs to feed, medicine, all that. But man, I was just like, but we drove it all the way down to 3.4.
Yeah, that's
I
not
mean,
bad. I mean,
we were pulling like 150, 200 a day in a 7,000 head starter yard.
yeah, that gets old pretty quick, don't it?
Oh man, it does. Horses get nice, good horses, and I made a pretty good dog out of it.
It's funny. You'll have a guy be like, "I don't know why you don't just doctor all of them in the pen." And you're like, come with me for a day, and you'll see why."
Yeah. Your horse, you're gonna need 2 or 3 of them if you do that.
You ain't got enough horses for it. I promise you.
Yeah. Like I am one. So we have 12 guys on our crew, and I am one of 2 guys that's allowed to carry rope.
Nice.
I mean, it's just because I'm at the grower yard. Because there's really no reason to rope a fat unless that's that. I mean, you can
break in case of emergency. That's
kind of. I mean, I've had to rope fats before, but it was for something dumb. Either they tried to run off or wouldn't go through a gate or something like. But like not a gate from the pen. Usually, you can take you out with them. I mean, fats are big, dumb, slow, and stupid. They just want to play and move along.
Right. And so you just get the one that you want on the fence and let whatever else go out in front of you. Set a block gate, and then
it's pretty easy to pull fat.
Oh yeah, it's harder to see them than it is to pull.
Yeah,
like that. Like fats are pretty tough to see sometimes because they're fat.
Yeah, they're fat. And they're about the only thing you can indicate, the normal slobber. But a lot of them you have to look at their shoulders and fucking even from the back, you can see it like a heart failure or something.
Yeah.
But so I've had them where they really didn't even show in their chest, and it was more through their whole body, and instead of going through the front, kind of went on the bottom of them.
Yeah, and then if it's
almost
not in the
looks like a water
summer,
belly.
you can kind of look at their nostrils, but that only works in the fall and the winter because once it starts warming up, their nostrils are gonna flare just because they get hot. It's I don't know,
real quick and shit.
Fats are different. They it takes you got to retrain your eye a little bit.
Yeah, that's the problem with riding. So we pretty much like we can over the fence a lot of our fats, but that's just fats in general. But if I have something young or something that's been a problem before, then I'm going to go in there and take a look because I don't want that to fall apart.
Right.
But if you go like at the grow yard, I bet I pulled 6 head out of one of our new pens just because, man, I got to get ahead of whatever's going to break.
Yeah, well, and you got to see what everything's temping too. Like
Yeah.
people will cuss a thermometer, but I'm a fan.
I'm a fan too because I want to know at what am I getting them at the peak, just the start, or at the downfall of it.
Yeah, or are they just ugly? You know?
Yeah, that too.
And like I always, you know, like we doctor our own cattle here. You know, bigger feedlots. You have a doctor crew for
We
them,
have
but
doctor crew.
but you
All
got
I
to
do
take
is
them.
ride my cattle and go back to Cowboy Shack.
Yeah, but you guys got to do go homes too. So
Yeah, but I like that because that's a great place to start a colt.
it
2-3
really is,
rides
and
and go and
it's
sort.
a good way to train your eye too, because you're like, all right, that one's got a doctor tag, or that one's got a mark,
Yeah,
and that one didn't temp. That one didn't
yeah,
temp. Okay, so I'm seeing you're either not you're either seeing it early, or you're seeing ugly.
yeah. I've had ones that were in a pen of natives and
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have any ear, but somewhere along the line there was some Bramer bred in, and his ear just happened to be set a little lower on his head.
Yeah, but
But
he catches your eye every time too.
yeah, and you might pull him just because he's ugly 5 freaking times and never
I
tempts.
know. It's I've had a couple of those where I've put a big X on their side. I'm just like,
Yeah, don't even.
stop pulling this motherfucker. We're gonna
Yeah, put
kill
like
him.
shave his tail or some shit.
Yeah,
Cut the tassel off.
yeah. Just like, wait, we're gonna kill this motherfucker if we keep pulling him, because
Yeah, no shit.
he's gonna get.
He's just getting exercise now.
See, the way we do it is, so if you pull them twice within a week, they get doctored on that second time, regardless, because
Yeah,
there's probably something there.
yeah,
But then you get those ones that are just fucking ugly. Like
yeah,
they never temp, and you can run them through the chute 6-8 times, and
yeah.
they'll get treated out all the way, but they'll never temp. And you're just like, after like the second time where they don't temp, mark
Yeah,
that motherfucker so somebody knows, like, hey, this guy's just ugly.
yeah, yeah. So we all have our own sections, and man, I mean the money's good enough. I really don't take days off unless I absolutely have to.
You can
I
make
mean,
some money in a feedlot if they're paying you by the hour.
well, I'm getting paid day wage, but man,
Well, even if you're, as long as you're not on salary, you can make some good money in a
yeah,
feedlot.
yeah. Like stay away. Like young people listening, stay away from salary.
Especially on the big outfits. Like if you find
Yeah,
a smaller one,
a
like,
smaller one might be able to afford a better salary.
yeah, like but you gotta. It takes a while to get into something like that. I
Yeah,
got pretty lucky out here, and I'm on salary, and it works for me. But
yeah. I'm only on day wage
but
until I. Yeah,
if we had 50,000 head, it wouldn't work for me.
yeah, because that's a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah, but
Especially if you're doing your own doctor and everything, that's a lot of work.
mm, the problem I've kind of run into on these smaller outfits is like we're at the lowest cow herd numbers ever, or at least in modern history, or whatever,
Yeah.
since like 1950 something. So there's not a lot of cattle, and there's a lot of heifers on feed, which is a bad
Yep.
sign. It's a bad
Yep.
sign.
That
That
means
means,
we're
like,
gonna lose even more cattle.
so like cow prices
That's
are going
because
to get
they're worth so
higher.
damn much.
I know. Yeah, because there's not many of them around,
Yep.
and the people, and there's a lot of people still not holding anybody back because they don't have grass for it,
Yeah.
and then out here, like where we've had some really good moisture the last last winter was extraordinary moisture. This year is it started out slow, but it's been coming on here the last week or two.
That's
And
good.
yeah, so we're gonna have good grass again. Feed prices are high, so like there's a good chance we're not gonna see a whole lot of cattle this summer because there's just too much grass to be had out here. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of places in the middle of the country where like the drought's getting better, but they can't increase their herd yet.
Like grass hay, like it's stupid. So when I went
No,
on
it's
my little
retarded.
vacation, man, grass was the cheapest in Winnemucca, Nevada.
Yeah, because we had a lot of moisture last year, so we had a lot of
Wait,
hay.
no, it was in Wickenburg, Arizona.
Either way, they had a lot of. You know
Yeah,
what's
they did.
funny? I had that dude from Vermont. What's his name? John Clark. He's friends with Kate Bowen. And he brought up how they had that big volcano explosion in Tonga, I think is where it was, but somewhere in the South Pacific,
Yeah.
and it threw so much ocean water into the atmosphere, and then all of a sudden, we just got pounded with
Huh.
winter storms, and you're like, he's like, I think there was a big correlation there, and like, I'd never even heard that before, but that
I've
makes
never
a
even
lot of
thought of that.
it makes a lot of sense.
Like cloud seeding on a giant scale.
On like a massive scale. Like, I mean, it was a bigger explosion when they used to drop than when they used to drop nukes there in the South
Yeah.
Pacific, because they used to test a bunch of them over there in that general area.
Yeah, that's where that big ass iguana came from.
Yeah. And this volcano explosion was like 5 or 6 nukes going off.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so definitely possible.
Right.
Or
And so
plausible at
like
least.
you're just like, that makes a lot of sense. Like
Yeah, it
when you
does.
when you sit back and think about it, you're like, I don't know if that's true or not, but it
Yeah.
sounds plausible.
The logic is there.
It sounds real plausible.
Mhm.
And then it just so happened we hit it was the first year of an El Nino cycle too. So like
Yeah.
we're already getting more moisture, and then you add that on top of it, you're like, oh, no wonder Los Angeles flooded.
Yeah.
Like
It
that
just
plus
sounds natural.
it kind of makes sense when you think about that. It was
Yeah.
I mean, like, that, and it only happened for like a day or two, but like Las Vegas was flooded too. But yeah, I don't know. It's just
So I rode out in the desert in Arizona, and man,
mhm.
I've noticed like I never, I was having fun. And I found that cow trap and everything, but the land out there you can see like there's ravines that are they may not be as wide as this table, a foot, 2 foot wide, but they're 10 foot deep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because like when it rains, it fucking rains.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the like we grew up where we grew up, they called it the Great American Desert, and
Yeah.
it's pretty deserty, but it's not
Man,
real
have you
desert.
ever seen two buttes full?
A couple times I have.
I've only seen it full once, but it
Uh,
filled up this last time and it stayed full for like a decade.
yeah, it's yeah, when it gets full, it stays full for a while.
Yeah.
But then I remember it was like in 2012 or 2011, 2012, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
There was an old boy that lives at Two Buttes, and he walked right out into the middle of the lake, and it was only
Yeah.
like shin high at the
Yeah.
deepest part.
I remember it
Um,
was it was blowing up. You could see like plants going all the way,
oh
like
yeah,
all the way
there
across
was
it.
a lot of dead fish because
Yeah.
because it was so low. And then the
I used
next
to go
year
cliff
it
diving
filled
over
right.
there.
The very next year it was like at one of the highest levels it's ever
Yeah.
been.
I
It's
bet they
weird.
dropped a lot of fish.
Oh yeah, it's weird when Mother Nature decides to change course. Like,
Yeah.
it
I
just
mean,
all of a
it
sudden
was the desert.
you go a year and a half without any measurable precipitation, and the
Yeah.
next thing you know, it's like the month of June, you get 12 inches of rain. You're like, oh, that's
Well,
a
don't they
yearly.
irrigate out of that lake?
I think so, or they used to, or I don't think so much anymore, just because there's not any water left.
Yeah.
That's one of those things my dad's been fighting. Is he's like, you're sucking the aquifer dry,
You
and
know
you're
what? You know what doesn't make you might enjoy this. So I think it was 1934 water compact
that was the last
where
one.
where they went through or the water for Bondi Dam. So they drained the dam. They
Yeah,
drained
and
the whole reservoir, and man, that killed an entire freaking source of income for thousands of people.
oh yeah, there's a song by Jason Boland about that same type of deal in Oklahoma, where the opposite thing is where they cleared out like a whole bunch of farmers and built a reservoir,
Yeah,
and now like there's it's like one of those Lake of the Ozarks deals where you're like, Lake of the Ozarks is this massive fucking lake, but it's not. It's 100% man made,
yeah,
and
that's
but
nuts.
yeah, you and it built an entire economy off of tourism and like leisure sports,
Yeah,
but it pushed all these farmers off their land that'd been there for 5-6 generations.
well, there's a few farms out in that lake, but or a couple anyway. But there's like the old foundation, a bunch of plows and shit out there. When the water drying up, you can go and find it.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
When you're in a road that goes right through the center of the lake.
It's crazy how quickly America changed. Like
Yeah,
farming, everything. Like we're still. So I was listening to that interview with Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin today,
yeah,
and he was talking about how the Russians celebrated their 1000th anniversary in 1862. We were in the middle of our civil war, which
yeah.
the country's not even 100 years old. In the middle of a civil war, and the Russian Empire just celebrated their 1000th anniversary. Like, this country is so young as far as like Western terms go. The Indians go way back, but we did a pretty good job of just wiping them off the map.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean, I'm not taking sides one way or the other. I'm just saying that,
Oh, I
like,
think it's pretty fucked up.
I do too, but I also like it's not any more fucked up than what's happened around everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, it's just human nature.
It's the story of humans.
Or
And
predatory instinct.
yeah,
I'm gonna
well, it's
kick
just
your
like,
ass.
all
I'm gonna
right.
take your land. I'm gonna eat your food.
Well, and you could even break it down even further. Just like, you guys use this land, but not like we could use this land. And turns out the European settlers were right. They had a far more productive use of the land.
Yeah,
Maybe not as obviously not as intimate of a knowledge of the land.
yeah,
So like their the practices that the Europeans brought over are good for like a generation or two until shit changes,
yeah.
and
Until the
like
world just
that's where
changes.
like
Shifts.
the whole climate change kind of comes into
Yeah,
to effect. Like I don't agree with like the climate change agenda, because they're trying to just shut us off from fossil fuels right now, and that's a stupid idea. But there's like a
well,
lot of
to say
there's a lot
climate
of people.
change doesn't exist, that's kind of. I mean,
Look at the Dust Bowl. It
yeah. I mean,
absolutely, like,
it happens.
we didn't change the weather, but we goddamn
We
sure changed
manipulated the land.
we changed the conditions on the ground
Yep.
through farming practices and whatnot. Like the weather did what it was gonna do. I don't think we're ever going to change that. But like I said, we can definitely change the conditions on the ground. I mean,
Yeah.
this past summer, it was 31 days in a row that Phoenix got over 110 degrees, where everywhere else around it cooled off pretty drastically. And you're just like, oh, it's all the concrete and
Yeah.
asphalt and steel, and they like, yeah, like it's a dome over Las Vegas and Phoenix in particular.
Maybe they need to do some painting.
Yeah, or figure maybe there just shouldn't be that many people living in the
I
fucking
like that.
desert,
Yeah, I
you
like
know?
that. But that many people can stay there because they're used to that many people.
Right. Exactly. But like figure out how to get your own water.
Yeah,
You
stop
know, like
making more.
right. It's like LA, you know, or California in general, they're climate friendly now.
Yeah.
So that there's no coal or very few coal fired power plants in California, but they import a ton of energy from Utah, and that's all coal powered,
Yeah.
baby. You're like,
Oh, man.
it's all bullshit. It's all
It probably
bullshit.
runs their electric cars too.
Oh yeah, it does. And then yeah, that's the thing. I'm very intrigued by the electric car.
Man,
I think
did you see when it froze everywhere and all them Teslas were stranded?
yes, and I'm like, so it's like we're not there yet. I'm
No.
intrigued because like when you see fucking the Cybertruck drag racing a Porsche, towing a Porsche and just blowing it out of the water.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, there is something to the power in an
Yeah,
electric
there's
vehicle.
something there.
There's some really cool shit there. But by the
Well,
way,
like a train's nothing but a generator with
yeah,
fucking electric wheels. I mean, makes sense.
I know, and like no, the technology is fascinating, but it's
Yeah.
not ready. It's not ready to take it. Like until you can stop after when your battery goes dead and when you can charge it in like 5 minutes,
Yep.
that's a game changer.
Not
And you
12 hours or 21 hours.
and you can make the energy affordable, which is going to take some fossil fuels, by the way,
Yeah.
or nuclear, one of the two. Then I'm really intrigued because engineering wise, it's fucking fascinating. Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine the giant like rock trucks they're going to be able to create when they make that thing feasible to
Yeah.
or if they can make some sort of alternator that charges the battery as it's going.
Like, you seen them Indian guys online that make a perpetual motion machine that
Oh yeah.
generates fire? I was like, that's cool as shit. But
Mm-hmm.
like, if it keeps spinning, why can't it work? I mean, if it's generating power and making itself spin with its own power, then why don't they invest in that and somebody start doing something like that?
Do you remember how gay the first version of the Prius was?
I didn't drive one, but my truck sure repelled some.
Well, like it's what I think the vehicle itself was fine, but you remember how gay they looked?
Oh yeah.
Well, the other day, like when I think it was when they pushed through the Infrastructure Act or whatever, when they put on all these tax credits for electric vehicles. The CEO of Toyota, who makes the best pickup nowadays, like I don't think it's even a close second. Like
Yeah, I like them tacos.
they don't have the like the heavy duty 3/4 1 ton ones yet, but just give it time.
Yeah, give it time.
Toyota's gonna dominate the pickup market because they're better and cheaper.
Well, don't they have a diesel 3/4 ton? Or is that Nissan?
I don't know about that. I know they had a diesel 1/2 ton at one point.
Yeah, it was Cummins.
It might have been, yeah. I
Like
can't
a
remember for sure.
4-cylinder, like it's related to the poor BT somehow or some shit.
I think so. I don't know for sure. Like I've kind of stopped paying attention on those because they
Can't
just
afford them.
and they made them shitty. Like I look at our feed trucks. We bought 2 feed trucks in the last like 3 years,
Jesus.
and about half of the time we've only been running with 1 feed truck because the other one's in the goddamn shop, and it's all related to the fucking emissions bullshit.
Yeah.
Just like
Delete it.
the engine itself is awesome, but like
But
once you
the
put all
emissions suck.
yeah, you put the emissions bullshit on it, it just causes all these problems. And as soon as you
So
take it off,
my brother-in-law had one of them eco class business class. No, it was the eco class Freightliner, and it had
Mhm.
all that emission stuff. Well, they deleted it and put a chip on it. Whoo,
Yeah,
man, that thing was
like
balls.
the engine themselves are awesome.
Yeah,
But they have to put all this bullshit on it, and it causes so many problems, and they burn more fuel. That's the biggest
yeah.
part, is they burn
Plus, they
more
have to
fuel.
burn the emissions off, which go where up there.
Yeah. But we spend more fuel to make sure that it comes out cleaner, and
Yeah,
that's saving the environment somehow.
one cardboard box and plastic jug at a time.
It's crazy. But anyway, that the CEO of Toyota was like, if we would have had the incentive to invest in hybrid vehicles, we'd be like, they're already well ahead of the game. But he's like,
Yeah,
the amount of cobalt and lithium and whatever it takes to go into a battery, we could make 8 hybrid vehicles for 1 electric
yeah,
vehicle.
yeah.
And you're just like, I think
And those
every
were a
like
big deal
once the
for a
price
long
of
time. Everybody did that.
once the price of fuel goes up, you remember back in the 70s, like how many people did you know growing up that still ran their pickup on propane?
Not a lot.
But they were out there.
They definitely were. So one of
Yeah.
my friends, that's what his deal was. He built his flatbed with propane tank in it
Mm-hmm.
for his Toyota pickup,
Yeah.
and that thing went forever.
Oh yeah. I like the fuel mileage wasn't as good, but you could buy
But it
propane
was
at
like a
20.
$1.20 a gallon.
Exactly. It was like at least $1 a gallon cheaper than everything else. And
Yeah,
that all started from the 1970s during that fuel crisis. And
and you
people
seen
just
these compressed natural gas cars too.
probably.
They're all right, but same principle. But you can put CNG in a diesel, and it'll explode the fuel line. Like you will trip out like 30, 40 mile a gallon in a truck like mine,
Mhm.
and that would be really cool. I'm looking into it big time,
I don't
but
try some
to
shit
find a
out.
place. What's that?
Try some shit out, but like they're just trying to mandate electric vehicles and they're not ready. Like that's the thing. The biggest thing is they're not ready.
No, we
They
don't have the infrastructure.
they make a lot of sense in these giant cities. Like it would
Yeah,
especially if they started
not
using
Chicago.
nuclear. Right. Well, if they started using like nuclear power and most of the vehicles in the city were electric vehicles, I mean
Yeah,
it would clear up that smog a lot. And it makes a lot of sense if they would work when they're supposed to work.
yeah,
And they work most of the time, but you get a cold spell like that in Chicago, which
yeah.
happens every fucking year.
I know.
It's
We're
going to be a
always so
disaster.
surprised when it happens.
Oh, I know. It's like Texas. Like everybody gives Texas a hard time because, I
It
mean,
does get cold.
with good reason. Their grid fails every time it gets cold.
Yeah,
But like it's no different than California and Chicago. It's like Chicago's on the fucking Great Lakes. Like it's one of
Yeah.
the coldest places in the country. You think you would have some generators or something as
Yeah,
backup,
exactly.
but no, that like when shit goes to hell, it just stays like that for a while.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with it.
I'm
Like,
not either.
they need to like. That's all I did for 2 days when it's cold. I was like, look at all these guys flipping the channel, and it's all news about that.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. How many electric cars you see down in your neck of the world?
I haven't not maybe 4 or 5 on the way here.
Mm.
Like
That's
open
that's a
highway.
that's a bad stretch of road to be in an electric vehicle because
Oh yeah, I think I
the
saw 2
wind.
charging places.
Yeah, there's no charging places and the
No,
wind doesn't stop blowing ever.
no,
Like
ever.
you're always into a headwind or a side wind. Like
Yeah,
you never get a true tailwind.
man, I would love tailwind. Then maybe I would fucking freeze. So it sucks. It
Man,
seems
if you
like
could catch a
you're always
tailwind,
riding into the cold.
always somehow like you're never riding away from the cold, or at least
So
not directly.
I think I'm pretty hardcore. I wear my hat all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I figured out how to fold my the back of my hat band in like
Mm-hmm.
or my sweatband, fold it down and shove it on my head so it won't come off. But I don't think I'm gonna be that tough next storm. I got one of them fucking Siberian friggin'
Oh,
Mongol
dude,
hats. I'm gonna wear it.
swallow your pride and just wear a warm hat. Like
I will. I'm doing
nobody fucking cares, man. I it gets below 40 degrees, I put a Scotch cap on. I don't give a fuck.
Man, I seen a kid wearing one today, and I'm like, I'm almost in a t-shirt. Like, I had taken off my sweatshirt earlier, and he's riding a Scotch cap, and I'm like, so we got a young guy, and
Mm.
man, I think the crew needs a guy like that. Like, seriously, like somebody that takes all the shit, but is willing to do the job that most of us still feel too damn prideful to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy hauled go homes that we had to send over to the other yard, and he hauled them in beds, just happy go lucky, fucking listen to the radio,
Right.
drive around and pick up all day, never even saddle a horse. And that's a weird day for me. Like I couldn't picture not saddling a horse.
See, these are the reasons I'm not a feedlot manager, because I don't want
Yeah.
I don't want the full responsibility. I just want to punch cows.
Yep, that's all I want to do. I just want to ride my section
I
and
can I
go
can
home.
do I can do most everything that it takes to be a feedlot manager. I just don't want all that responsibility.
Yeah,
Give me
yeah,
I'll be the assistant, and I'll run day-to-day shit when I have to.
yeah.
But
I'll be the fill-in. I'll be the head cowboy if need be. That's about it.
mostly just let me take care of cows. That's what
Yeah,
I want to do.
I just want to do my job, and I
Yeah.
ride cold. So, well, I think I'm gonna quit doing that because I'm getting old, and man, hitting the ground hurts.
Well, and the colds that you get are very unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Most of the time they're okay. Like they're not that much work, but sometimes you get one and you're like, I'm gonna
well,
charge you so much money for
oh
this
yeah,
this stupid bitch.
this thing sucks. But I
Mm-hmm.
got pretty lucky with my personal colt, so I've never paid like I paid probably the same as 4 or 5 of the horses I actually bought in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was not cheap, but after getting him, I'm like, man, I should have done this a long time ago.
I
Because
know what it's always that old argument, you get what you pay for, but like god damn, it is hard to
it's
buy
hard
a
to argue.
Yeah, but also it's hard to buy a $5,000 saddle because you're like, God, I could buy
Yeah,
2 horse. I could buy a lot of shit for this one saddle, and
yeah.
then you ride it and you're like, this thing's gonna be
Uh,
here. It's
man,
gonna be
I
here a
bought one of
while.
the NRS competitors, and it was a
Mm,
lot. It was a lot of money, but it's so comfortable. And it
yeah.
was like it broke in a week. I was like, this is nice.
Well, when I finally broke down and spent the $500 for a pair of semi-custom Beck boots, like it's custom to your
Yeah,
foot, but it's the working cowboy special, so you only get so many options to make it
yeah,
custom. But either way, just to get a boot that fits you, you're like, oh, I get why people pay for these. Like,
yeah.
and
This is why. Yeah,
yeah, it makes a big difference. And like my buddy Jake Houston, his boots are not cheap by any means, but like goddamn, he puts some time in. They fit your foot like immediately. They're
that's
very
awesome.
they're very little break in, and they look cool as shit. So you're like, I get where the price comes in.
Yeah,
It's just
like all my tack that I paid for, like even my bits, my rain chains, everything. It is a get what you pay for kind of deal.
it is to a certain extent. There's some of those bits where like I like that
Yeah,
bit, but I've seen a classic that'll ride just the same.
man,
And
and actually, my bits are them classics.
they're not bad bits,
They're
honestly.
cheap and they're well made. They don't pinch. They're good. They're all right.
And if you work in a feedlot, you don't mind if they rub a little bit of silver off them. It's not
Yeah,
real silver anyways. So
yeah. Well, and I have my buddy. Like, not a lot of people riding rain chains, but especially in split reins. But they're stainless.
yeah, they
That's what I
last
love about them
forever.
because they get bad, man. Just hose them off or fucking a wire
Hmm.
brush or something.
Yeah, they ain't gonna rot out.
No,
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. Feedlot changes your perspective on a lot of shit. You're like,
it does. Like it makes you
how
appreciate
good is that
outside.
saddle? Yeah,
What's that?
you're like, how good is that saddle? How good is
Yeah,
that bit?
man. This
Because
guy that paid $6,000 for his saddle.
it's a lot of money for a saddle.
I mean, I can understand. He says it like the perfect saddle, but he's a bigger guy, bigger
Mm,
saddle, But it fits his horses and fits him good.
yep. I mean that's a big it's a big part of it.
Yeah,
But also, like I've told people, I'll never buy a Corey any saddle because I've seen too many horses get chewed up. But I know
yeah.
some really sure enough handy like good cowboys,
That ride them, and they're good saddles.
and nothing else. And you're just like, I'm not gonna talk shit. I'm just not gonna buy one.
Yeah. So I've noticed that most of them saddles that do chew on a horse, they're usually 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, and they're on a green tree too. Like
Yeah,
the tree's not dried out properly.
yeah. Not kiln dried or anything or time
Yeah,
dried.
yeah.
I don't get it.
It's all production made. Yeah, I'm not a saddle maker, but
No.
there is definitely a difference to getting a handmade one. It's just how much do you want to spend extra? And I'm not gonna talk shit on the guys that charge an arm and a leg because
Yeah,
it looks like fucking work, and I don't want to
yeah.
do it.
Well,
But
and I know
also,
guys that
I have
they
to
can
just
build
go.
a nice saddle, but it's just covering a tree
Mm-hmm.
because some of their stuff looks pretty elementary. I mean, I can't talk shit because I can't even put one together, not even like a hand drawn one.
I
But
don't know. Like you listen back to some of those old cowboy songs, like Little Joe the Wrangler had a one fucking spur. And
yeah,
it's one of the most famous cowboy songs of all time.
yeah,
And Diamond Jim's another one, and it's talking about just a crooked cocksucker.
You've heard MC Horses.
Oh yeah.
So I worked for one of the wranglers that was involved in that sale.
Oh no shit.
Well, no, he wasn't what you call a wrangler. I guess he's a cowboy, buckaroo.
That's
And
awesome.
he actually they actually had some horses that were from that string, like from that group of horses that were offspring of them.
That's awesome.
It was a cool story. That was the outboard up in Oregon. I was green as fucking weed.
Yeah. I know some people up from that part of the world that know they were kind of around when that whole thing happened, and that's one of the songs I made it a point. I'm gonna learn it this year. I'm gonna play it on guitar for Elko next year as MC Horses because it's just a good old cowboy
It's a
tune.
good song.
It's
Tell
a great
story.
fucking song. Hell yeah. My buddy Forrest, you guys might remember him from some of the songs I featured earlier, but an American Forest. But his wife, Margot Silker, she came up and played Navajo Rug at the Burnin Daylight show and fucking murdered it too. It was awesome. She's kind of become a big deal. She toured with Hayes Carl and American Aquarium, played some like really big festivals and shit. I'm like, good for you, man. That like I remember when they slept on my couch here a couple of years ago, right before COVID, and now she's out there just doing her thing, and then she came out and sang an Ian Tyson song at my show. I was like, fuck yeah, I like this chick, you know.
Like listen to her.
Hell yeah. She's good too. I like her. I like her music. She got a unique style, but I like her. She's her family is Basque, so she's very connected to like rural California, rural Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah, I think her family came over as sheep herders at one point. So
it's amazing how many families that started that.
I know it's crazy, and it's funny how honestly it's all because of their work ethic and their food. Like they were
so
known
like San Francisco Peninsula in Baja.
Mm-hmm.
So all them guys were they were chosen. Oh, they call them leather. God damn it, the leather jacket men.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. God damn it, what the fuck was the name of them? They were the Spanish, like Spanish guards, but that's who founded that and who populated that out there. So all them people are hardworking, and only the ones that were, did good for the community were brought in.
Yeah. It's like it's a lot of that old California is like that way.
Yeah.
It's like it's the old Spanish culture, and like the people that were there, they got these big, huge land grants.
Yeah.
But they had to take care of it, or somebody else would swoop in and take it. So
if you want a good YouTube rabbit hole to go down, it's called Corazon de Vaquero, the Heart of Cowboy, and there's a whole series of videos on it.
Fuck yeah, I'm
it tells about the San Francisco Peninsula.
Hell yeah. It's funny how like the American cowboy is like, it's kind of like the icon of America. It's like the bald eagle, George Washington, and John Wayne, essentially. Like that's like when people think of America. But and like the John Wayne character always comes from the cowboy, which most, like the vast majority of that comes from the Spaniard tradition.
Yeah.
Which comes from like a North African tradition, and you're like, we are so fucking diverse. We are so fucking diverse. We should be White House press secretary right now because like we are minorities somehow. Like we've got every fucking culture known to man tied up in the Great Basin cowboy or the Texas cow puncher. You know, it's like we took a little bit of everywhere in the world, from the British Islands and Ireland to North Africa.
Yeah.
We figured out the best way to run cows here in America, you know, and we called that the cowboy. You know, it's like from North Africa to Spain,
Yeah.
England, Ireland, France, Italy. We took all of that.
That is the literal melting pot. It's Cowboys, you know?
Yeah, and we made it American because that's what we do. God damn it!
Yeah.
I am
You
a
can hear the
cowboy.
Beatles in the background. You need to get a button where you can, like, the screeching eagle.
Oh fuck! Well, I got that one.
What?
Did you hear that one?
No. Yeah, close enough. Yeah, close enough. No, like the screeching eagle, like America, fuck yeah.
I don't have that one loaded, but I do have an applause buttons.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I should get that one. Just like it should be the first part of Team America World Police. Just,
Yeah.
America, fuck
yeah. Man, I watched that like a month ago. So I think Americans just need to watch it. Durka.
Oh, it's so funny, but also it explains so much of
man,
like
so many stereotypes in there.
Well, and also just like how fucking stupid the United States of America has been for the last 40 years. And you're like, oh god damn it. Like when they go kill the one terrorist, and like, but you destroyed a whole city, and they're like, oh, people love us. And everybody's like, fuck the Americans. You just destroyed our whole city.
Oh god damn.
It's so fucking relevant, and you're like, we really fucked that country up.
It's far.
Like you look at Iraq, and we're like, ooh, they're not doing good. Ooh,
yeah,
my bad. Oh yeah, sorry, dude. We really fucked that one up.
We'll do better next time.
Well, we're not gonna leave, but we're sorry.
Yeah. We ain't go nowhere, but
I know you want us to get the fuck out of here. We're not gonna do that. But
we got napalm. You like napalm? Yeah.
But just know we're not feeling good about this. Okay.
Heartfelt apology.
Yeah. Still not leaving.
Got any more?
We feel real bad.
Yeah. Hey, you guys got any more like oil or anything like that laying around anywhere?
Oh, I know you got some oil down there. Don't hold out on me, bitch. Don't hold out on me, bitch.
What happened? They got pimp slapped.
Yeah. Team America. That's I keep I remember when me and my wife first started dating, I made her watch South Park because I was like, I said the jokes are really funny. I said the toilet jokes are really funny, but I said pay attention to what they say as far as like political discourse.
Yeah,
like, it is the smartest show on television.
They are putting shit so under the radar.
Oh man! And so she was teaching at Holly, Colorado. And one of the kids came in and was quoting South Park. And she's like, you're an idiot. You are not smart enough to watch South Park. And I was like, I'm gonna marry that bitch.
You are not smart enough for that.
And she was 100% right. And I was like, but I had made her watch enough South Park where I was like, just pay attention to what they say.
Look at the undertones. It's there.
I was like, it's really funny. You got to wade through a lot of dick jokes. It's
kind
of like this show. You gotta wade through the dick jokes to get the serious stuff, but it's there.
According to South Park, Cartman's is the biggest.
Yeah, yeah. I think if we had learned anything over the last like 5 years is fuck the government.
Yeah,
They don't tell you anything that's true.
like PC principle.
Yeah, fucking wild, man.
Yeah, he freaks the fuck out, and you're like, hey, not very PC.
You PC bro.
Yeah. you PC. I love his glasses.
And he just gets so angry.
Yeah. Oh, angry and buffed up. Man.
One of the funniest episodes they've done, and it was one of their newest episodes, but it's like Randy's oven door was not shutting correctly, and his wife had been bitching about him for like 6 months to fix it, and he's like, I don't know how to fix it, so he called a handyman, and it's like 3 weeks out, and he's like, fucking nobody knows how to fix anything anymore. Gaw. Oh wait.
Well, that handyman comes in all the time.
Yeah. Well, then the handyman starts making all this money and starts balling out of control, and then buys a bunch of spaceships and tries to go to space.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, it's so funny. You'd like the shit out of it because the handyman is just like some fucking white trash redneck dude that all of a sudden gets a lot of money, and then he's racing his fellow handyman into space in a rocket. They're both in a spaceship.
That's deep for South Park, but
oh, it was interesting. And funny. Like it's always funny. That's part like go as far as you want to, just make me laugh, and they always do.
Just make me laugh, and you can say bad shit, bad shit.
As long as it's funny, I don't care. Just make me laugh.
Hell, man, you care if I call this early because I'm getting tired as hell.
Yeah, you bet, man. It was good to catch up with you, though.
Yeah, we'll talk more about feedlot shit later on.
Fuck yeah, man.
I'm sure I'll discover a lot more.
Hell yeah. How's the head doing? Everything good there?
Pretty good. I still talk like shit, if you ain't noticed.
Honestly, I haven't noticed much since before the accident. You're kind of a dum and I've accepted it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And for everybody that gets offended by that, we're homies 3 years running now, so
it's okay. I mean,
I can say that
I was pretty retarded and I enjoyed it, and I can say that because I have brain damage.
And you're still fully retarded, so we love you just the same.
I'm only 12% less retarded. No, 12% more retarded.
And now you have an excuse, and that's what I love about it.
I don't have the strength, but I got the excuse. I'm waiting for somebody to go, do you have fucking brain damage? Really? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, sir, I do.
I do. You want a card?
Would you like to talk more about it? Because I will.
It ain't Lord Jesus, but man, I can tell you.
I tell you a thing or two.
Yeah. Yoga pants, they are the style of nurses.
And they're not real great to ride a horse
not
in.
all of them. But some.
No,
the night nurses. Yeah.
If we can end on one thing, let's end on this. Yoga pants are either the best thing in the world or
the worst.
It's not so much the worst thing in the world, but it's a distraction.
It is.
Not a good yoga pants in and of themselves are a distraction.
Yes.
And
there's either bad.
There's
because
no
if they're bad,
between.
No.
There's no in between.
Not at all.
Even the mediocre yoga pants make him go, "Oh yeah, I'd touch that thing."
Yeah. Yep.
Even the ones who don't have that good of an ass, yoga pants will make them look like, oh, they got kind of an ass.
TikTok ones.
I know, but then you see the Walmart people.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, no, you need jeans. Please
Yes.
put jeans
No, not
on.
even jeans. Like
a muumuu.
Like sweatpants.
Muumuu.
Yeah. Muumuu. Yeah.
Like no shape to that. Like we know your shape and it's not desirable.
If you're gonna wear leggings, wear a dress over them, please.
Or we have the reaction that's like, oh, I didn't know that was a possible shape.
You look like a potato.
I feel like I should congratulate you, but I don't want to, because you're disgusting.
All right. Well, we definitely agree on that. There's no in between on yoga pants.
Yes, and Haley Wilkerson, I hope you enjoyed this episode. You were the one that set it in motion. I was She was the one that said you should have a podcast. You tagged me and said I will when you have me back on. I read that and I was like, you know what? It's been a minute since I've talked to Casey.
Been a minute. I'm back in Texas, but I'm staying this time.
Fuck yeah. So anyway, cheers to Haley Wilkerson.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to Casey anyways, but that was a good idea you had. So
hell yeah.
I appreciate you, and Casey, I appreciate the fuck out of you, man. Keep doing your thing. I appreciate it. And everybody else, thanks for listening, and move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Burning daylight. Well, life is just a gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right.